I am Skills on the Platform, back at you with another one. What's up, YouTube? Today's lesson, or should I say just small general discussions, is going to be on trust. Now, we have different forms of trust. We have a trust in regards to relationships with people. You know, can they be trusting, trustworthy? Can you put your faith in others to, keep their word in a sense, right? And then, of course, you have trust, where you can set up trust funds, trust accounts, and whereas you still have to have faith in someone to be able to manage your accounts and your affairs, and that they do it trusting, and you can trust them to do so. Okay, so let's go ahead and break this down. Out of Etymology Dictionary, I pull up the word trust. It's a noun, from 12th century, means reliance on the veracity, integrity, or other virtues of someone or something. Religious faith, help, confidence, protection, support, believe, be firm, solid, steadfast. Okay? Also from the 13th century as reliability, trustworthiness, trustingness, fidelity, faithfulness, confidence, expectations, that on which one relies. All right? Then, of course, it goes on, trust as a verb, which is an action word. To trust, rely on, make strong and safe, in the sense of a trust, right? Okay. Antitrust, 1890, it's adjective. U.S. from anti, against, trust, in the economic monopoly sense. In the economic monopoly sense. We're going to touch on that. And then, of course, we have distrust, absence of trust, doubt, or suspicion. 1510, from distrust. Okay? So let's touch on trust, and then we can go on to the rest of other aspects of trust. So, trust, right? The reason why I'm talking about this today is because we would be considered right now being in the last days, because we see more and more things going on which puts doubt in the minds of people, especially against one another. Some people were just brought up and raised different than others. And being that people were brought up different from others, and I'm just, the spirit just moved me. I'm just going to go, with the spirit on this. Just us being raised by different people, different folks, everyone just raised by parents, grandparents, friends and family. Some people don't have parents; they were raised with friends and family and other family members, right? So, or some people just weren't raised by family at all; they were raised by complete strangers. Now, everyone has different values, but when it comes down to the trust, is trust something that's innate in someone, or is trust something that is taught? Can you teach somebody to be trusting, or it has to be within their character to be trusting? Right? So I would like people to leave in the comment their take on that. Whether it's something that's innately into someone to be trusting, or is it a learned, taught behavior? Now I can't speak for others. I can only speak from my perspective, right? Um, you know, me, I think I'm a old soul for one, right? I've been here before because certain ways that I've seen people carry themselves over the years versus how I notice how I'm carrying myself, it's just different, you know. And I think it has a lot to do with your upbringing because if I was brought up, right? If I was brought up to uh to know how to get up, go to work, and live a what people would call a honest living, right? And earn an honest living, and not learn how to try to harm people or take from people just for my own personal gains, you know, you're gonna have a different kind of a mindset versus someone who was brought up to do the complete opposite. For example, right? You have people who were brought up, you know, quote unquote, in the streets, um, never had a job. They, maybe sold drugs or they were thieves. They would steal from other people or rob other people to get the things that they wanted in life, right? So the upbringing has a lot to do with it. Has a lot to do with it. Now, and at one point in time, I kind of really wouldn't think that was the case. I think that, people will eventually show who they are over time because time will tell essentially who you're dealing with without a doubt. Um, like I said, from my standpoint, I was taught to get your behind up and go work. That's how I was brought up. I wasn't, you know, even though I've been exposed to, all types of people, you know, people selling drugs, people that, work high end paying jobs, people that have careers, people that, that steal, people that rob, right? But I noticed that it's definitely the upbringing which determines how a person will turn out. And since I was taught to go get up and get a job and work for mines, right? I don't feel and I know it's not right to try to go and, stick somebody up and take from somebody else to get the things that I want. Because, for one, it can put you in one or two different places. Yeah, so that upbringing has all to do with it. You know, like I said, if you were brought up to work and not learn how to take from other people, you're going to have a completely different mindset. And, like I said, I was taught to go to work and earn mine. It never set well with me because I saw, the people around me, people I grew up with, majority of people I grew up with, they all had jobs. Everybody went to work. They earned themselves a living, and they work for their money, and they were able to enjoy it in peace. Versus seeing the lifestyle of someone who steals or who robs people. Those people don't live in peace, because if you're running around trying to steal all the time, that means you're going to have to continuously steal. You have to keep that lifestyle up. It's not like you can just steal one time and it's a consistent thing for you. Just like someone that works is consistent. They have to continuously work to get what they want, right? But the one that works for theirs versus the one that tries to steal and has to rob people for it, they have a stronger values, a sense of peace also within themselves, because they don't have to look over their shoulders all the time and worry about something coming back to bite them in the behind later on. They have to, they definitely got to work harder than someone who steals or robs people, because they got to consistently go out there and work and put out their energy and their time and exchange it for income, right? So, speaking about the trust, someone that has worked a good majority of their life, whether it's working a job or worked a business or, worked a high-end corporate position, these people tend to be more trusting and trustworthy than someone who's been brought up as a thief, or someone that's robbed people most of their life. Not saying that those people can't change, but the proof is in the pudding. I would preferably deal better with people who actually held a job for a long period of time than someone who has robbed or has been a thief most of their life. Right? If you think about it, it makes sense. If you look back and just, try to do some research on that, try to do an experiment on it, you'll find that it's so. Because first of all, if someone hasn't held a job or even ran a business or anything of that nature, even drug dealers for the sense, someone that sells drugs, you sell, things that harm people just so you can earn an income. So you really don't even care about your fellow man when it's all said and done, because you sell drugs. All right? It's just something to really think about, because your character of who you are says a whole lot. What you choose to do says a whole lot about you. Something to really consider. And, because think about it. Even so-called people that live the street life, drug dealers, thieves, people that, that rob people, they'll turn around and turn on each other. It happens all the time. Because it's like this. If you hang around with people that steal, there's a good chance that they'll steal from you. They'll steal from one another. What's that saying goes? There's no honor amongst thieves. It's true. So it's like, you can't get mad if you hang around with a bunch of thieves and then all of a sudden those thieves steal from you. You're a thief too. How could you trust someone that that's a thief just like you? You can probably trust them to go out together and go steal together or accomplish a mission together because you guys are working together for that moment. You know, that's what like a comrade is. Someone you guys you guys come together to accomplish a purpose. But then once that purpose is accomplished, then it's all free for all from there. The person can turn on you at any given time. It's happened plenty times in history. I can think of countless stories of street dudes or street people who turned on one another. You know, think about the story of Rich and Al Porter. You know, these guys were in the street together selling drugs, and he turned around and killed his so-called best friend. How many people have been best friends and you actually had a best friend, that so-called best friend, that turned on you? Huh? I'm sure somebody can tell me, leave it in, something in the comments. Talk about something that someone who was so-called your best friend, but they turned on you. Right? They weren't trustworthy. It's because of their lifestyle. The lifestyle says it all. Right? Trust. To rely on. Make strong and safe. That's a verb, action. To make safe. So when you trust somebody, it's supposed to be a safe environment. How can you have a safe environment amongst thieves or amongst drug dealers? It can't happen. It would never happen. It goes to show the character of a lot of people too today, because especially I'm going to talk a little bit about I've heard a lot of women say that they would prefer to date a drug dealer. Like, that's insane. So meaning that they don't want someone around them that's trustworthy. So if they don't want someone around them that's trustworthy, that means the women who say things like that are not worthy of any trust themselves. One thing I could say about the lot of foolishness that I hear a lot of some females say today is that they just tell on themselves. And it's pretty cool that they do that, because we know to stay away from your type. Like, who wants somebody around them that's not trustworthy? Who wants to hang around a drug dealer? Who wants to have a drug dealer as a lover or a spouse? Man or woman, for that, because there are men and women drug dealers out here. Typically, men are drug dealers, though. Right? And then also you have men who would choose a woman, right, who would step out on her husband or step out on her boyfriend, for that matter, right? Stepping out on her boyfriend doesn't really matter because they're not married, so it's just, they just have a friendship anyway. But still, it's just that if you, and it's people also keeping their word. If you, speak with someone and you came to an agreement with someone, right? And then you turn around and you renege on that agreement, you've shown yourself not to be trusted. Then you have so-called male friends who would turn around and sleep with your woman behind your back. She was wrong for it, but that's supposed to be your male friend. He's supposed to be your best friend, and you turn around and sleep with the man's woman behind his back, or and vice versa. two, women friends, while your best friend's not around, you're turning around sleeping with her husband or her boyfriend. You're not trustworthy either. People are just raised to be savages in a lot of cases. And society has taught people these behaviors and traits here in the Western world. But people think it's okay to be untrustworthy, to be disloyal. In the life of crime, drug dealers, if you're disloyal, they'll kill you. Right? So it's like, but people are doing things that are immoral anyway. It's a contradiction. It may sound like I'm talking all over the place, but it's just a broad topic. But it's very relevant today. Now, people tend to be selfish in a lot of, in a sense, right? And I think that it's healthy to a degree to consider yourself. Obviously, if you can't take care of yourself, you can't take care of someone else, right? But should you be doing things at the expense of others? Should you be doing something that it's going to cause harm to others just for your own benefit? Listen, everything is so tied in. It's tied in people. It's tied in more than what people may think. People like to separate things and put it in certain categories. But if you look at some things full scope, everything is tied in. Right? You think about empires in history, right? All empires has a rise and a fall. All so-called large governments in the past have a rise and a fall. What causes the fall of these empires? Distrust, lies, betrayal, backstabbing, right? Deception, corruption, infiltration, wickedness. Somebody always trying to one up someone. Someone always trying to be the boss, quote unquote, right? Everybody want to be the head honcho. All women want to be the head, woman in charge, right? Everybody wants to be number one. This competition thing. Competition is meant during games, like events and things like that. Like, people cross up life with games. Like, I hear people say, "Oh, this is a game. The game ain't nothing to play with." No, life is not a game. Life is serious. It's real, and you need to take it seriously all the time. Life is not a game. It is serious. It is real. So that means you need to act serious and you need to be real all the time. It's not sometimes. You need to be trusting all the time. Even when nobody's looking, you need to be trusting. And you need to be trustworthy. You know, the problem is that people think that there always has to be someone above. Right? If people can actually sit down and come to an understanding of things, everyone could be in a position and be in their own form of leadership position, doing their own thing. But you have to sit down and have discussions with people about it. Distrust, absence of trust, doubt, or suspicion from distrust, right? So if you got doubt, you got suspicion of someone, you can't trust them. How is it can we as people, you know, come to the point where we can start trusting one another better? Well, first of all, you got to be real selective. Not everybody's worthy of your trust. And how you can identify this is someone that's trustworthy is, first of all, you got to be able to look at somebody's lifestyle. What are they about? What do they do, first of all, for a living? Have they held a honest paying job for a long period of time? Do they have a business, a successful business that they've had for a long period of time? Were they, you know, are they consistent in what they do? You know, were they able to hold a position for a long period of time and show and prove in that position? These are how you identify people who are trustworthy and who are not. Because I'm not going to go make friends with thieves, drug dealers, and people that actually never held a solid job for, for 5 or 10 years, depending on your age. You can tell a whole lot about somebody by their age, for one, and what they did in their lives for the past 5, 10 years. You can tell a whole lot. And people are only getting smarter these days. So it's harder for people to try to cover up their lies to the point where someone could betray you where you don't trust them. You got to use discernment, people. These days now, it's easier to spot out somebody that's distrustful. It's a lot easier now. And I think the Most High for the way things have been unraveling over the years, because we are in the last days, people. Don't make no mistake about it. We see more and more foolishness and, silly behavior coming from men and women. And these people are just telling on themselves. We're in the age of Aquarius also. This is the age of knowledge, excuse me. So things are being revealed. Things are coming out. People are no longer going to be able to hide behind, a false exterior and hide behind that mask that a lot of these narcissists hide behind. Things are being exposed and coming to the forefront now. And I really thank the Most High for this, because I can spot a lot of foolishness now that I probably wasn't able to spot 4 or 5 years ago. All right? But you have to have your spiritual mind intact to be able to discern these kind of people. That's how you're going to be able to spot them out and identify them and be able to avoid these kind of people. Because these people will set you up. Especially if you have something of value, these people will try to set you up. Whatever happened to the, thing where, you wouldn't, as a drug dealer, right? You're not supposed to be attacking people who have regular jobs. If you steal, you rob people, right? That's what you do. You're not supposed to, your target is not supposed to be a working class citizens, a working class people. Your target's supposed to be other thieves. Your target's supposed to be other drug dealers. Those are supposed to be your targets. You're not even supposed to get into the involvement when it comes down to regular people. This so-called old snitching culture, that belongs to people of your own kind. People that are in the line of business that you're in. You can't tell a old lady or old man who, a young man or a young woman who works a regular job, that if you do bring any harm to that person and they call the authorities on you, right? So-called authorities, and that doesn't count as a snitch. That person, they're not in the line of work that you're in. They're not a thief. They don't sell drugs. They have all the right to call some type of assistance to help them from your crazy behind. Now, people that are in your business, drug dealing and thieves and robbers, if they call the authorities on you after you pull one of them stunts on them, that would be considered snitching. Kind of went off topic here, but I just had to go ahead and let that lay that out real quick. Y'all people got it twisted. An old lady that works, she's getting off the bus coming home from work at night. Y'all little punks try to go ahead and snatch that old lady purse. You know what I'm saying? You should be ashamed of yourselves, because you're cowards to go prey on an old man or an old lady who gets off the bus and works for a living, who's been working for the past 50, 60 years of their life, and they work hard for what they got, and then you turn around and you trying to rob an old lady, old man. You should be ashamed of yourself. I know a lot of you don't got any shame because of what you do. But if I see you and I catch you, I'm gonna put hands on you. And then I'm gonna turn you in when I'm done. Y'all need to learn how to stay in your own lane, because y'all choose to live this lifestyle of being a thief, robber, and drug dealers. Y'all not supposed to mix with regular people. You don't retaliate on those people. You retaliate on your own kind. And for you to do that, you're a coward. But yeah, like I said, we're talking about trust. Right? So there's ways of identifying people that are trustworthy and people that are not trustworthy. And it's based upon their upbringing, their lifestyle, even how they talk. If you can't even hold a decent conversation with someone, in a lot of cases, about something productive, something that doesn't harm others. If someone can't hold that decent conversation with you, man or woman, you need to really question that. And then, if you choose to deal with these people, you get what you deserve. You have no right to complain, because these are the people you chose to associate yourself with. So if they knock you upside the head and take something from you, you're just gonna have to take that L. I don't want to associate with these kind of people. I was not raised and brought up to be no gangster or no thug. But if it came down to it, if I gotta throw these hands, or I gotta go load up some hammers, then so be it. But that's not my preference. That's not something I choose to do. You know, life's too short. You know, for us to try to be running around here acting all tough and you know, causing harm to ourselves and harm to others just for material gains. Every single man and woman has the ability to live a successful life, being honest, being trustworthy. It's not lame to be trustworthy. It's not lame to have a job and work. Now, you always want to make a plan to eventually probably get out of that working stage where you can actually run a business. It's a legitimate, successful type of business where you don't have to continually get up and work every day and be unhappy, which I know a lot of people are. You need to learn how to learn different, skill sets. You need to improve your skill set if you want to do better in life. If you don't like the way your life is going, the way it's living, you need to learn something so that way you can be able to attain to a higher level of income. So that way you don't have to go out and try to harm other people or sell drugs just to be able to get ahead. Some people were brought up into that since they were youth. Since they were youths. Since they were children. Since they were young. That's the lifestyle they were brought into. And some people, are going to die in that lifestyle. It is what it is. But when it comes down to trust, know who you're dealing with. And you're going to know who you're dealing with. People know who they deal with. People want to play stupid. People want to play dumb. People know who they be dealing with. You know when somebody's trustworthy and not trustworthy. There's nothing exciting about dealing with somebody that's not trustworthy. Nothing at all. You know, people need to stop thinking that life is a game. Life is not a game. Games are games. Life is life. Life is real. Life is serious. A game is an event. Whether you're playing sports or whatever, or you're at a gambling event, something along those lines. Those are games. Life is real, y'all, and take it like that. Anyway, like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell notification for future videos like this. Also, leave a comment. Now, for people who want to, change and do better, because the reason why those folks fall into these kind of lifestyle where they fall into being a thief, drug dealers, robbing and stealing, right? Because these people were not taught who they were. They typically are following others into a lifestyle that they don't really have any full control over, trying to fit in with a certain group of people, right? If you want to know who you are, get yourself a numerology report or even an astrology report, or both. So that way you can know who you are. By knowing who you are, you're able to make better decisions, right? Pursue a career in something that best suits you as an individual. Once you're able to do that, now you're able to pursue something within, a year or two. You can become a professional at something and be able to earn a decent living to the point where you don't have to try to steal or kill or sell drugs for anyone, for that matter. And you can learn how to be a trustworthy person. Because if you have something for yourself, you don't have to go out and do that. But some people are greedy, though. Naturally greedy. Doesn't matter what they get, they still want more and more. A lot of those people are just a lost cause. And you're going to still be able to spot these kind of people as well. But nonetheless, get yourself a numerology report for people who, like I said, want to get away from certain types of lifestyles and certain type of people and want to be able to earn a decent living for themselves. This would be the way to do it. At least one way to do it. Thank you, YouTube. Peace.